Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word.
It's not,
No, it's definitely.
I'm going to go on for quite a while.
Definitely not the final word. Everton 2, Liverpool 0. What a fantastic night at Goodison Park.
It was.
John Blaine.
It was, wasn't it? No danger. Well, I wasn't worried.
No.
And I wasn't not worried because I wasn't bothered, because you're nervous.
Yeah.
My heart rate thing says that. But it just seemed it was destined.
Yeah.
From the fast start, okay, be a penalty disallowed and stuff like that, but they just came up against the wrong team at the wrong time in the wrong place. Fans were on it. Everyone was. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
No, it was 14 years in the making. It actually felt like that. There was a lot of young kids there last night who will have never seen Everton win a Merseyside derby. There was a lot of older people who will have been kids when Everton last won a Merseyside derby at Goodison Park,
well,
which is, listen, that's part of the story, isn't it? Of you know, people were kids the last time they seen Everton win a Merseyside derby at home. I mean, obviously I wasn't around when Andy King scored the goal. That a lot of people look back on so fondly. But it must have been reminiscent of that. It really must have been reminiscent of that night for so many. And I think listen, people can say, well, or the other side can go, well, 1-1 have you, or you can have your cup final, whatever. But no one can take that away. The way everybody turned up last night, the players, the fans, the manager, Saki Dyche turned up, and it just made an absolutely fantastic night for everyone involved.
It did, and we all thoroughly enjoyed it as well. And the people from the other side can say what they like, or have you finally won one? But there'll be your trolls on social media who never go near a football stadium. Yeah, because you could not have been in that stadium last night and not embrace what was going on and let yourself go a little bit. And for the other side's position, they were miserable as fuck and went home early. You know, we've been there at Anfield many a time, or even at Goodison. In all those years where you're thinking, what the am I doing here? But you have to keep turning up, because guess what? You get nights like last night occasionally. Yeah. Well, we should have them more frequently, but the thought that you'd go on holiday and miss it. Oh, you know what I mean?
Thought that you'd take your son that never seen Everton win a Merseyside derby, and it will miss. It may never see Everton win a derby at Goodison Park.
Yeah, could be the last one.
I think there should be a knock on the door if anyone is on holiday when they get back from the, from the relevant, people to say, this is not on.
He's doing his bit. We're winning while he's not here.
Stopped your child from watching a Merseyside derby.
It's like they won while I wasn't here as well. So
last night is, obviously we are one season away from leaving Goodison Park.
Yeah.
And there's an idea of what Goodison Park is. And last night,
that was it. Gary Neville nailed it. This is it. This is what this place is like. Yeah. And and he's played there. But yeah, absolutely. That's one to remember. It really is. For the way everything just came together. It was almost like a perfect storm, wasn't it? Of the manager maybe learned a lesson at Chelsea. The fan base keep turning up, and all the players to a man turned up this time. And the net result was a great evening. And we all get nervous, and you're sitting there, and and I do me Fergie, so I know how much added time there is. But I listen. Every game I hear people reaction to the board going up is, where's that come from? And Rachel next to me says, what have you got? And I go, but no, I just thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Well, I think we sat here yesterday and we were quite relaxed about the situation. I did a little thing on Sky with a Liverpool
Martin
fan. No, Neil.
Neil.
People say Martin. Neil Atkinson.
And he looked so...
How
would I know a red? right?
I mean, he did say his name. I mean,
Yeah, Anfield Rap.
He did seem really worried.
Well, I did say on the desk, didn't I, that he seemed far more worried than you did.
The biggest game of his life.
Yeah.
And what I don't get about that is, that's Liverpool going for the league, I get that. But we are facing an existential crisis at our football club.
And I've been for a while.
We're talking about literally our club surviving. You know, the knock-on effect of any relegation for us would be absolutely monumental. And yet we were sitting here all quite calm about it, and I felt like everyone was quite relaxed. Even when it got in the ground, it was quite a relaxed feeling, you know, nice, sunny spring day where it was just like, yeah, the crowd were there and everyone was quite relaxed, and they seemed tense about it. And I listen, we can't obviously replicate their emotions because we haven't had that feeling for a while of going for trophies. And you know, you have to go back to 2012 and 2009 for that feeling, certainly 2009 of a cup final, close, the anxiety that brings. But as I said, you know, our crisis is a real crisis. They can miss out on the title this year and go for it again next year. If Everton relegated this season, there's no absolute certainty, 100%, that Everton would come back from that. I mean, we would, because we would. But you know, for them to have all the nerves really did play its part. And I think that the whole occasion last night, it really fed into that joy that we saw at the end, but also during the game, of not putting too much pressure on our players, understanding the limitations, understanding the tactics. It's about doing what we do to the best, and last night was like, we took that to the next level.
Yeah, because you coined that phrase sort of after Forest, didn't you? About just being the best version. And again, those words the manager's used, you know, since he's been here, being the best version of ourselves that we could be. Yeah. And it all just clicked. And I think because we started quite quickly, you know, the pre-match and the fans being up for it wasn't allowed to decay, was it? With a very, you know, them dominating the first 15, 20 minutes while we sit off and we're getting frustrated because we're not playing. We did the opposite, you know, and you're right, whatever nerves they had, and the fans as well, was very quickly exposed, and they just never recovered from it.
No.
We could easily have scored more goals. I know they'll say we hit the post and Nunes couldn't hit a barn door and stuff like that, but we had other chances as well, unless they forget. It wasn't down to very clever playing of the offside trap that we avoided a penalty, was it? You know, so all in all, a very good evening.
Well, I think we were a lot more controlled. I mean, you know,
there's a lot less stray passes as well.
Yeah, there was a lot. It was a lot more. You know, less is more.
Yeah.
Don't be trying to be anything clever. Don't waste energy. We didn't waste energy chasing after the ball last night. We didn't press like we did. It was a different kind of, you know, the way we played against Chelsea, there was so much unnecessarily energy being wasted running after balls that no one was ever going to get, and then
pressing all by yourself.
That left spaces all over the pitch, and I thought the team played into that. It was that's the team I picked for my starting 11 because I just thought it was a little bit more. Having James Garner and Idrissa Gueye just sit in front of the back four, utilising the pace of Ben Godfrey at right back. Those little things meant that we weren't chasing around after the ball. Everyone was just doing their job. Jack Harrison was shifting over when Ben Godfrey was having to come inside, and it just felt with those players, they would understand the job a little bit more than maybe Onana, who likes to get on the ball and then. And then, you know, he likes to be clever with it, and he is a good player for that. But I think that wasn't necessary last night. It was about the shape, and we started so well, as you said, but without being gung ho.
That was the word popular, yeah, gung ho.
Without pressing them too high. We got in the faces. We tried to break the play up. We were
very disciplined.
We were disciplined, but we were also quite clever about winning fouls because obviously the set pieces were a huge part of the game, and that's where we really have dominated them last night. You know, watching Liverpool thinking, if you can't handle set pieces, then
you've got a problem.
You've got a problem, and they couldn't handle.
And the
set
manager
pieces.
said it, didn't he? Particularly for Dom's goal, we know what they're going to do, and he was still on his own.
Yeah,
look, that's just like a glimmer of Klopp blaming his players, I suppose. But no, and I think the other struck me was very much. It was obviously team performance, but players actually. And it sounds a bit heavy, but sacrificed their own performance for the team. So you got James Garner and Harrison, for example. All their best work was done off the ball.
Yeah,
all of it, right? And Jack Harrison would occasionally get the ball, and he gets it stuck between his feet, and all the bad side of him comes out. But the cover he gave Godfrey and that sort of stuff was really important. And of course, Ben did his necessary last ditch.
Yeah, well, that was
crazy interception.
That was the big moment, wasn't it?
It was a big
moment early on where Alexander Arnold's put one over Salah's. It's a lovely depth
first touch.
Yeah, and Ben Godfrey is ready quicker than Andy. Darwin Núñez. He's ready quicker, and that's what he's very good at.
There's a role in acting for you.
It's all about the timing, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
And we were always going to have. They're a very good side. They're
always going to be moments.
They're a very good side. It's the same as playing Man City. It's the same as playing Arsenal. I mean, obviously there's an extra edge when you are on the Merseyside, and again we saw that last night. That's what made it a proper derby. That's what took me back to.
That's where concentration's important, and I think no one really lost the concentration throughout, and we didn't get carried away, and the discipline in sticking to the plan, which clearly was there was no high or low block. It was somewhere in the middle, right? Was just they have a lot of the ball, but actually, we've seen it throughout the way they play. Despite the fact they score a lot of goals, they don't score anywhere near the amount they should score.
No.
And they just became bereft of ideas.
Well, they did, yeah. But I mean, obviously, early on, there was a lot of set pieces. There was a lot of diagonals that we were having a lot of joy with. James Tarkowski was basically winning everything and it was interesting last night because it was very much Dwight McNeil was on everything.
He was.
At the weekend, Andre Gomez was on a lot of stuff, but last night, it was Dwight McNeil on everything. I think we had a free kick, and it was quite deep in their half, right on the halfway line, and he was taking it, where Pickford's been taking them as well.
But his set piece was all his delivery was good,
but
wasn't it?
Last night, it was very much, you could tell that they were going to go for that consistent Dwight McNeil ball into Tarkowski and keep on doing it all night, and hope and think they thought they were going to get some joy, and we did, and we scared them early on. I mean, Ben Godfrey's missed a header at the back post at the Park End, where it's one of them where you go, did that really just happen?
Yeah.
How's he not put that on goal?
Yeah.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin's made the goalkeeper made a great save, almost preempting his goal, and you could tell they were getting a little bit more nervy, and I also felt that.
And they couldn't stop themselves giving away free kicks.
Exactly, and that brought in nervousness about giving free kicks, and they continue to just. And of course, our players played it smart. Like the likes of Idrissa Gueye was buying fouls, which normally you don't always see in the Merseyside. And it didn't happen all night, by the way. There was somewhere Idrissa Gueye went down and looked up, and the referee just went play on.
Yeah.
So
it
was.
He had a good game, the ref, didn't he?
He had a great game. Best referee I've seen for a very long time. Of course. Early on in the game as well, we've had a penalty given, which
Stonewall, mate.
Stonewall penalty.
Offside
obviously,
saves.
He's offside. Do you know what worse about that is that move? Well, not worse, but I think it was Andy Robinson had given the ball away quite high for them, and there was a big, massive gap. And I was just hoping we would get into that gap as quick as possible, but we didn't. We played the early ball, and of course, not only is the Corey offside, but it's marginal if he's interfering, but Dom was offside. He is brought down. But again, there was that idea of it was given, then taken away, and there was a lot of disappointment. But there wasn't like that. Sometimes those things can happen and it takes the air out of you, but it didn't. It was just, but
momentum was building, that's why.
We'll do it again, yeah. We'll do it again. Sometimes that was our chance. And maybe in another generation, you get that because the referee, the linesman's half asleep, he hasn't seen it, whatever it is. But it wasn't last night. There was no. It was given, and it was over. It was get on with it, and again that all played its part. I felt last night.
It did, and that's what I think was trying to say when the pre-match and all the great work the 78s do. It rolled into the game. That our team started with a bit of energy. We clearly, well, I did, so I guess everyone else did. The nervousness in the Reds, right? And we just kept going and kept going. And of course, we got the goal probably at a time when, if it kept going a bit longer, you might start worrying that nothing's going to happen. And for it to, dribble across the line from Mr. Branthwaite, who extends his reputation.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Despite what Dominic King
27th minute was the the perfect time to get the goal, because they hadn't done lots. They hadn't put any kind of dominance onto the game. No. We were the set pieces and also the counter attacking was really working really well. And it was a free kick. And he has the first header, and it's actually a terrible.
Oh, it's awful.
Comes off his shoulder, I think.
His shoulder or side of his head or something. It was awful.
Terrible.
And he gets up slow.
Yeah, it's poor. And then we hook it back in.
Yeah.
And then I think Ben Godfrey has a shot. It hits one of them, goes to clear. It hits one of their arses.
What was he doing?
It bounces back down to Jared Branthwaite, whose name now has to be Jazza Branthwaite, because otherwise you can't sing "Who Put the Ball in the Red Shite Net," because you have to say super. Jared doesn't fit. You have to say Jazza Branthwaite for that song to work now. Just putting that out there into the world. And he just spun his left boot at it.
Get it on target.
And it's gone under the world's greatest goalkeeper. That's what I can't understand. I can't understand how that ball can go under the world's greatest goalkeeper. I don't know how that's possible.
Maybe he's not the world's.
Maybe there's some kind of.
Maybe he's not the world's.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't see that, because he is the world's greatest goalkeeper. So there must have been some kind of tear in the fabric of reality or something.
Space-time.
Yeah, there must have been. Because otherwise there's no rationale of how that ball goes underneath him. I can't spot it. I can't spot it.
Fate.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe
Jared put a little bit of spin on
the multiverse where Everton actually
we were in the right one.
Opened at that moment.
And we were in the right one.
And it squeezed under him, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin's slid in. And then you get the celebrations, and then there's the bit and then the VAR comes. But then the VAR, which obviously I've seen since, but you're watching, you're going,
what took so long?
What was it for? Like, at first, I thought Dom had touched it in and he was offside.
That's why Wazza was banging on the window.
Yeah. And then I'm looking and going, well, it was over the line, so maybe that's why they haven't given it as offside. But then obviously when you go back, it's for the first one.
Yeah.
And he is just onside. And again, that's what VAR is for, isn't it? Sometimes it'll be one side of the line, sometimes it'll be the other.
There's about 3 bloody phases going on in
yeah, I mean, that's the other side of it. Exactly. But that's when it started getting a little bit nervy, because Liverpool...
Something to lose now.
Liverpool, well, yeah, that was the first thing I said. It was like, we've got something to lose now. This is where you have to sit there and cope with that. But that's when it got a little bit nervy, because at that point they suddenly realised how much they had to lose.
Oh, yeah.
And
they were found wanting.
Between then and half-time, it becomes such a nervy affair. They obviously had so much of the ball. They had 5 up front. The full-backs suddenly become wingers. And they just kept us in the half. And we just couldn't get it away into the areas for Dom to win it cleanly, to get it down. He done a magnificent job on what he could. And every time it just, you tried to clear it, you just couldn't get it away. And it was us. We were kicking it off people's asses, and it was bouncing back.
So okay, then let's have another set piece then.
Yeah, but it was just for those 15 minutes that we just couldn't. Obviously, well, more than 15 minutes, but obviously Jordan Pickford has stood up and has made some brilliant saves. I mean, I'd expect him to make all of them. He didn't actually have to make one in that half, one truly unbelievable save, but he stood up to everything, because it doesn't matter if things are coming straight at you, as their goalkeeper demonstrated. You have to be big, you have to be strong in the moment, you have to make sure that if it hits you, it goes away. There was one that came from their left, and it came at an angle, and it was so low, and it was almost like he he palmed it away.
Must have been in front of you, that one.
Yeah, and it was like, it was one of them which was even, they're the ones that I think are worse than, you know, the one that Nunes took, the first one, the one that was straight at him, because it's right there and it could hit anybody and ricochet, and there was a couple there, and we just had to literally get through that moment and almost get the bell, the bell to ring. Get in, get on your stool, get your water and get your breaths in. Yeah. And we managed it. Obviously, there's a huge sense of relief with that.
Yep. But they come out early as well, second half.
Yeah, and that was
another sign, wasn't it? That, you know.
But that was the real moment in the game, wasn't it? Because obviously you're thinking, we've got another half of that to go. We're gonna have to face that for another half, and it never got that bad again. It was just really, because obviously getting at half time, Michalenko obviously picked up the injury, which was a huge blow. Yeah. Because he was playing really well, and we know how well he does against Salah. Yeah. So seeing him going off, and you're thinking, oh, it's all these little things that can just go against you. Let's hope they don't. But
they came out fast in the second half. They were out early. But we did what we don't do very often. We soaked it up for a bit, and almost the first attack scored again.
Yeah, I mean, we come out, and obviously the manager, he brought Ashley Young on, and
played all right.
He played really well.
Probably
again.
A 10 on a match.
Yeah, probably. Knew his assignment. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't up against much.
No.
But I think what we did better in the second half was we just knew the shape a little bit. So instead of being camped in,
we had more control, I think.
We started to take chances.
Yeah.
We were winning the ball slightly higher. So instead of everything coming over the top and having to deal with it, we were winning it slightly higher on the edge of the box, and that's where having two centre midfielders just sitting was really important. And then we started counter-attacking, so we started to give them something to think about. And
so how did you feel when what should have been the third didn't happen?
Hang on, we haven't got to the second yet.
Oh,
let's calm down.
I'm excited.
No, we've got a whole show to go, John. You're going out too fast. We just had to we were starting to get those counter-attacks and making them think a little bit about, well, that last 15 minutes of first half, we had nothing, no counter. Second half, we suddenly give them something to think about, and Dom was doing brilliantly in the air. Dwight McNeil breaking with the ball, Decore, Jack Harrison, Idrissa Gueye even was coming out with the ball, and suddenly we've given them something to think about, and obviously that's hugely important. Otherwise, it's just going to be camped in your half, and that's what I think. Again, it got the crowd going again. Of these are fighting. We're fighting. We're not camped in. No one wants to see you camped in. They want to see that you've got something to make these think about. And I thought early on that was hugely important to think because there was a couple there you were like, we've got opportunities. We'll get opportunities here. Yeah. They're not that good. They're not that good at the back. They think they're great, but they're not. They've got a right back who's not a right back. They've got a centre back who
played number 10 for a bit.
Yeah, he's a very good number 10.
Yeah.
They've got a centre back who looks like he's probably got a year left in him. The other fella didn't know what he was doing and
took him off anyway.
Yeah. So we had that threat, and that was massively important.
It was, and to me, it just looked like a degree of control. And we'd settled into the game, and they were the ones who had the problem because they had to win, didn't they? Yeah. And they just found wanting, mate. That's all it was.
But again, it was one of those things. It was one of those counter attacks again that led to us getting the corner. That obviously
the manager will love that goal.
Yeah,
because the tactic around it and the training ground stuff you do, blocking off Van Dijk, decent delivery, and he should get a Red Bull advert. Never mind a shaving advert, shouldn't he?
We look genuinely like if we had a set piece last night that we could score off it.
We
did. As I said before, they knew that, and I don't know whether that in that. I don't know whether because of that. See, I think what's great about James Tarkowski is on set pieces is he becomes such a foil, and everything's going to him.
So he's a magnet for defenders.
That you forget that Dominic Calvert is fucking brilliant in the air. And I know he hasn't maybe illustrated that much this season, but he is brilliant in the air, and we don't always use. And I don't know whether we did last night, but we don't always use that sort of tactic of. You think it's going to Tarkowski, but actually it's going to Dom. And for that one moment, we suddenly all eyes for them. They're terrified of Tarkowski at this point for every set piece.
Yeah.
Because he's so good.
They completely forgot where Dominic Calvert-Lewin was.
So fixated, but at the same time, it was a brilliant blocking job as well. We blocked Van Dijk off, and suddenly to see Dom
rising,
leap like God knows what, a hot air balloon. Never mind a salmon. To see him go up, and the again, it just brings back all those memories of your Duncan Fergusons, your Latchfords, your Sharps, your Greys, whoever else, and to get it in the Garden Street, see it go past the goalkeeper.
It was rooted to his line.
Yeah, it just evoked all those memories, and to see it go in and how well. And again, you know, who cares if it's a set piece? That's what.
There's nothing wrong with set pieces.
No, that's what we love.
Again, managers talk about set piece, like that's a part of the game. That is only what lesser teams do, you know. Well, they had 26 shots and didn't score. Yeah. You know, and they had, what is it, 600-700, God knows how many passes as well. But how many of them were in the last third? How many were in the box? How many of them created big chances and all that sort of stuff? I just think it was an all-round top performance of a team who, for once, seemed very comfortable in itself, but also what was being asked of them. And the manager said today, hasn't he, in his pre-match for Brentford, the players, you know, you set what you think is the right tactics, and then you worry. He didn't use the word worry, but you worry whether the players can execute it, and they did. They just executed it.
Yeah.
And so any disbelief they may have had, they've got it back again. So.
Yeah, and in hindsight, that second goal going on really was the end of the game.
Again, the timing was just right. Yeah. We'd been under pressure for 15 minutes, whatever it was, and then we score. So your man on Sky Sports with you.
Yeah, he got it spot on. He just got it the wrong way.
He got the wrong way round, which is get a goal, and then in the last half hour, finish the game off, and that's exactly what happened.
Then that's when the nerves kick in. You're 2-0 up, and you're still half an hour to go.
I must say, I'm sitting there thinking, no, it can't be one of them, can it? Where, you know,
I mean, in hindsight, I think...
There was nothing to worry about.
I think Klopp threw in the towel at that point. I think he knew the subs in our eyes were very strange. We spoke to Paul before. Paul popped his head in before. Fair play to you, Paul. He popped his head in before. And
he was a bit low though, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, he had to go to that box park, didn't he? So you will be. Not a great advert. Come on, kids. Come on. And he said, you know, some of our players have to go off at certain times and because of injuries.
Trent was calling out for that, wasn't he?
Yeah, and they have to. And you know, got an half 12 game. I don't know if you know that, John. They've got an half 12 game.
Yeah, they kept mentioning half 12.
Yeah,
is that what it is? Is that what they were talking about?
12 game. So
I thought they were on what time they were going to get home.
Yeah, they've got an half 12 game. So he made some. It just the idea of like taking two defenders off, and that's more something like you would expect us to do. But Klopp genuinely looked done. And you never feel like that at the game. Of course you do, because we obviously are thinking we're 2-0 up. The worst thing that could possibly happen is that we lose 3-2.
Absolutely.
Or you know, we don't win this game. But after that, we were very, very comfortable.
In that time, we perhaps could have scored another one.
Yeah, we could have, and they hit the post, and that was the biggest moment.
The only player from theirs who turned up.
Yeah, he did Diaz. All right, Diaz. I mean, again, he obviously clearly wanted to be an Everton player. He wanted to play Goodison Park. That dream was ripped away from him, of course.
He's regretting it now.
So he feels like he has to perform well at Goodison to show us what we missed out on. But again, you're sitting in this 30 minutes to go and all the emotion thinking, we actually doing this? Are we actually doing this for once?
And the answer's yes.
And the faces around me are just like stunned faces, because you don't know what. I said after the game, you get 90 minutes of like just emotion and stress, and you only get like maybe 15 minutes afterwards to celebrate it properly, unless you're going on the ale and everything. You only actually get that real fix. The game, you look back in hindsight, it's fantastic. But it's nothing but stress. It's even though you're 2-0 up, and you've got this moment in front of you that you haven't seen for years and years and years, 14 years really. And you know, it's unfolding in front of you, but you're just sitting there like that. You know, you've got no skin on you, you got no fingernails, and it was just. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't like nerve-wracking. It wasn't an absolute nerve-wracking, because
it was the what was worrying me wasn't the game. It was the 3-2 thing you just said, was being able to not deal with fundamentally us throwing it away.
Yeah.
Because we've been there before, where games we should have won, we haven't won, and so on. But they just closed it out.
But that's where it becomes that's where actually the manager does earn his money in a way, isn't it?
Because he tries to keep them calm.
It's the changes you do or you don't make. You know, they've made 5 subs. We've ended up making 2 subs in real time, and then just the sort of last minute one just to take the sting out of the game, sort of thing, by bringing Schmidt on. And it's what you do or you don't do. We took Idrissa Gueye off with 75 minutes. Now the manager's, he said since that he is carrying a little bit of a calf injury, so he just knew that maybe he was the player he had to bring off. And a lot of people around me, again, that's another thing, you're like, taking him off, really? He's having a brilliant game. It just adds to the tension. But he was...
But they're the sort of injuries where the fatigue gets you.
No, you're right. But obviously we don't have that information. But Idrissa Gueye, he was magnificent last night. I thought he was man of the match. I thought, he
got 11, did he?
Yeah, you could just see he turned it all the way to 11. He just had all the experience, the managers. He understands football. He understands
this club as well.
Yeah, and if he doesn't get a new contract, he's an idiot.
He avoided that.
Well, he did avoid the question, didn't he?
Yeah, Julia asked him a 2-part question. He ignored the second part.
Well, listen.
But we have the 1-year option, and you've got to believe we're going to...
Let's just have a look at Idrissa Gueye's numbers from
have we got numbers?
Any day now.
Yeah.
41 touches.
That pass accuracy is way above the average for the team.
86%. Dribbles, 1 out of 1. Duels, 1. 5 out of...
whatever numbers behind
7.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was brilliant last night, and you can see how much work he did just in front of the back 4 for the heat map as well. He did so much work on the edge of the box, and it's something I was talking about before. I think we mentioned it. Is he just knows how to put out fires. Other players hold up, like Garner will hold up players, James Garner. And then he nicks him round the back and just takes the ball.
Yeah, my missus, when he was with us the first time, and it still stands true, just described him as a pickpocket.
Yeah.
He turns up and just takes it off people's toes.
And I don't think, he had some like criticism early on in the season, where again you get new players or players want the shiny new things in the team, and they're willing to just dismiss play. You see it all the time. You see it every football club. You've got a player who's been there, tried and tested, but there's a shiny new thing, and you're trying to wedge the shiny new thing in. And Idrissa Gueye, a lot of people wanted him out the side, felt like he gave the ball away too much. But I just look at the performances when he's in the team. He makes
much better.
He makes such a difference to our side.
He does.
I mean, he wasn't part of the Chelsea debacle, and it wouldn't have been a debacle if he was in the team. His experience would not have allowed that to happen. Okay, I'm not saying we wouldn't have got beat. But he is someone actually on the pitch that you go, when you're looking for someone to say, we need to stop what we're doing. Forget about what's going on over there with the manager. We need to stop this, even if it's for 5-10 minutes. I feel like he has got that presence on the pitch, will do that. And the manager actually trusts him to do that, because you need the feel on the grass. You need the feel, and I think he understands that. You've obviously got Coleman, who's not playing at the moment, but he plays in a position where it's not the engine room. It's not the engine room. Yeah, it's not it. Idrissa Gueye can still massively influence games for us, the way he plays. And I just thought he was magnificent last night. I thought he was the best midfielder on the pitch for all.
And the screening he does for the back 4 makes them play better as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was interesting that
the 2 centre guys.
It was interesting that Liverpool actually brought on Endo, as in to be almost like the insurance policy, so that all their players could go forward. And I always feel like that about Idrissa Gueye. I know we don't play like Liverpool, but sometimes you need an insurance policy to sit in front of your back 4 that allows, you go back to Martinez when we had the 2 flying wingers, and he had Gareth Barry sitting, and you had James McCarthy, and they are insurance policy that all your attackers can go forward. And it was interesting that Liverpool actually brought on Endo. I think they should have really started them, because that allows everyone to go forward. That's why proper number 6 is so important in a football team. Not you can't have a fake one because they join in. Whereas you've got to understand that you're just sitting, and even though he's not a natural number 6, Garner, James Garner's actually more of a natural number 6, I think.
No, I'd agree with that.
Idrissa Gueye just knows when to pickpocket the ball.
He does.
He also picks it up and he also knows how to win fouls. I think he actually won the foul for the first goal.
He did.
And he's such a good player, and I just don't think he gets the appreciation enough, because when we brought him back, a lot of people were like, shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have spent that money on him, he's done. But like we've said loads of times, we replaced Idrissa Gueye with Idrissa Gueye. No one else could do that job. No one else has been able to do that job. We brought a lad in that cost us more money over the 5 years through his injuries and not playing than Idrissa Gueye has for both spells.
That's right.
And Everton have to give him another contract, and I don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here going, give him another 90 grand or whatever. Everton have got to hopefully come to a compromise with him to make him stay. Now, I don't know, he might have already made that decision. He's got young kids, he's just had a baby. He might be like, time to go somewhere else and have
But we've got the option.
No, I know, but... Well,
if we exercise it...
I know, but the option might be for £90,000 a week, though, John, mightn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Probably. Well, it'll be whatever he's earning now.
Yeah,
it's an extension on the...
And if Everton... But that's what I'm saying, if Everton can't afford that, then...
We can afford it now, so we can afford it now.
I know, but with everything going on, it wouldn't seem prudent, would it? With everything going on at the football club. I don't know, I'm just the way everything's been, I don't... Yeah. Maybe people at the club think that's... But what you get him as a footballer...
Yeah, I don't know whether Sean avoided the answer, just he gave a long answer to the first part, or whether he just doesn't want to say, I don't know where the finances are.
Well, we don't know, do we? We don't know.
But if you're cutting your cloth, then I'm with you. He's not a place to do it to. Yeah.
They've got to somehow keep him at this football club and come to some kind... Because he's, as I said, you manage him right, you'll get another year out of him. He knows the Premier League. And he
performs.
And yeah, he does. He performs in the biggest of games. So he was brilliant, and it was obviously him going off last night was a bit of a... Is this really the moment? I mean, I like Onan, everyone knows that, but I wasn't 100% sure bringing him on in the 75th minute of a Merseyside derby was the right time to do it. But
and he run round a bit.
Yeah, he didn't really touch the ball
Not really,
that much.
No.
He just did his job and then danced when we'd won. But a few nervy moments. Obviously, they'd made a few changes. We obviously didn't. The manager doesn't make those changes. Didn't want to upset it. Could have maybe brought like a Gomez on, but then you're slowing the game down and you're giving them opportunities. And can they get into the rhythm quick enough? So he stayed away from that kind of thing.
My anxiety level would have gone up if we brought Gomez on.
Yeah, I think less was more last night.
Yeah.
It was less was more. No one looked knackered. No one looked out on the feet. Everyone was doing their job. Players probably want to play this time of year rather than train anyway. So it's a case of shape work and all that. I know the manager said they're back
down day to day. Well,
they were back in, yeah. They were recovering. You'll do a bit of shape for Brentford.
And it'll be light tomorrow, probably.
Yeah, because certainly this week, it's all about games, isn't it? So,
three in a week.
Everyone kept on fighting. Everyone kept on going. Everyone, as I said, just kept that shape. We had a couple of, obviously, if the DS one goes in, then it could be a very...
That would have been nervy.
Yeah, it would have been a very different end of the game, but it didn't. That's the
When was that, minute-wise? Can you remember?
I think it was in the last 10 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it could have been a very different game if that had gone in, of course. And they had Harvey Elliott's effort in the last minute, which is a nice strike. We'd expect the keeper to save it. And then they had Salah's...
He's way off, isn't he?
They had Salah's volley, but again, good height. Bit like the one he saved against Bournemouth in the last game of last season. Nice height, but also nice height to push it away.
Yeah, my missus don't like when I call them Hollywood saves.
Well, the saves you got to make.
You've still got to make them.
You've still got to make them.
And he favours that, almost punching it away. Which,
So we've had a couple of, I think Dwight McNeil stung the palms of Alisson, didn't he? And we've had a few little moments, maybe opportunities where just couldn't quite get that extra pass in or whatever. But yeah, all in all, I mean, just a fantastic night, just a fantastic performance.
It was, and it's been coming.
Everton fans celebrated it like you should celebrate something that you've waited a very long time for. Forget about anyone. I mean, to be honest, I haven't really seen anyone say we shouldn't celebrate it. It's what normally.
The Reds are very quiet because they know it was well deserved.
Yeah.
And as Chloe off the Red Men did on her post match in front of Anfield, could have been worse from their perspective.
Yeah, I mean,
she thought we could have got another 1 or 2. You know?
Yeah, at the end of the day, all I was bothered about last night was just getting the points. That's all that mattered. That's all I was interested in.
I agree.
You know, it's the table. It's not to do with how it will or won't affect Liverpool. Or to me, first and foremost, we are now 8 points clear of Luton. We're
same at the weekend. Just finish it off.
We're 7 points clear of Forest. Hopefully we can get it done over the weekend. Hopefully, because then we can just relax. Then you're not working out every calculation in your head. But it's give us that brilliant platform, and hopefully Saturday we move on, and of course Saturday will be different. Saturday will feel different. It's probably better that it is an R5 game just to give that little bit of an extra thing, but. Yeah, be just nice to get it done at the weekend, and then everyone can just relax.
Go to Luton.
Yeah, go to Luton without having to worry about the results or because you don't want any kind of twist and turns at this time of year. No. The momentum's on our side. Just do the job you have to do. Put the pressure on Forest. Put the pressure on Luton.
Certainly did that last night.
Well, that's it, and then they can fight amongst themselves then, and it's got nothing to do with us. And really, with the point deduction, we'd be up there, wouldn't we? Now we'd have over 40 points. So really, we should be absolutely safe. And
points deduction notwithstanding, it's homing in on what the supercomputer said at the beginning of the season: 45 to 50 points.
There you go.
So.
I mean, if we can get that 45 points, that would be absolutely that again. We keep going. We go to Brentford, we go to Luton, Sheffield United at home. You know, expect to pick up points in all 3 of those games. Really, no matter what happens.
Just take the piss on the last day and beat Arsenal.
Yeah, whatever. Well, if that's the way it is. That's the way it is. But obviously, the other goal scorer last night was. Well, first of all, let's talk about the first goal scorer, sorry, not the other goal. Jared Branthwaite, who obviously there's his stats there. Obviously a goal, 8 clearances, 4 block shots, 1 tackle, 3 out of 4 duels won. Again, the red on the heat map is pretty much all in the box, and that's fine, other than the nice little spot where he scored from at the other end, as you can see there. But again, when you're looking for markers in someone's career, you're looking at big moments in someone's career where there's been a lot of hype, a lot of talk. Recently, he's had a few off games, certainly at Chelsea. But
Gueye was missing, that's why.
Last night, huge. Defensively, was absolutely brilliant. So calm.
Him and Talk, the pair of them.
Oh, yeah, so calm on the ball, but just to score that goal as well, he'll now, whatever happens, he'll go down in Everton folklore because he scored the goal. Poor Matty Pennington.
He's the youngest since Lukaku, isn't he?
Is he, yeah?
Yeah,
I was going to say, though, poor Matty Pennington, scored the goal at Anfield at the Cop end, but of course was on the losing side that day. No one ever remembers that. But people will always remember Jared Branthwaite's goal in the derby.
Yeah. I think he is the youngest goal scorer since Lukaku. So, adding to all his plaudits.
Yeah,
and he'll be with us for a bit longer yet, so that's good.
Well, who knows what the future holds, but he seems to be certainly enjoying life at Everton, and he's playing well. And who knows, now that the Euro squads are going to 26, maybe there will be space for him in that squad.
They should take him.
Maybe they'll go, well, if we've got 26, this lad is the future.
Yeah.
And he needs some experience, so maybe he will go to the Euros, and maybe that'll be, another big
fifth centre back or something.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you? If you've got 26 players and you're not really going to play all those players, then why not have someone that you think this lad is the future?
Let him get the tournament vibe.
Yeah. Let him train every day with the England team. Let him train every day and see where it can only be good for Everton if we want to keep him. I think that's the way I look at it.
And then 2028 he can. Well, excel at the Bramley-Moore Stadium.
Yeah. Well, he'll have gone to the World Cup in between as well. Huge performance from him last night. And again, just rubber stamp, and I think not to us, but just to people on the outside. You talk people up all the time. You'll talk, and people might only see them when they play. You know, Jared Branthwaite will have been talked up, and then people have watched him.
Like Dom King, he sees the Chelsea game and says, "This guy's no good, really." Yeah.
King,
no, of course not.
Rule, isn't
well,
it?
he's horse racing man, isn't he?
Yeah. The other goal scorer was obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Let's just have a look at his numbers. Yeah. Dribbles 1 out of 2, shots on target 2, tackles 1, duels 1, 11 out of 25.
That's surprising.
Well, you know what though? I was looking at his numbers last night, and it wasn't all his. He didn't win all his headers, but what he did was he always affected.
He did.
He always affected the ball.
There's quite a few where him and the defender both missed the ball. And
there was there was quite a few where he was looking at it going, even if I win
and he
this,
got lots of nudges.
If I win this ball, it's not going to fall to anyone. So I've got to almost get it behind me so I can run up, spin, or someone else can run past me. And there was a lot of that last night, and I thought,
still don't get round him enough, do we?
No, not at all. We don't take those risks. But I thought Van Dijk looked very uncomfortable against him. There's a moment in the
he decided very early on he couldn't cope.
There was a moment in the first half where Dom went up with him and he sort of stopped and looked over to the bench as in like,
what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah, or like he's fouled me or whatever. And I remember there was a derby a few years ago, and I remember me and Baz talking about it, and I remember on that night Dom didn't affect Van Dijk. It might have been the one where we got beat 1-0, maybe. But Dom just didn't seem to even fancy the battle with Virgil van Dijk. Now, of course, Virgil van Dijk's older and Dom's older. Now, and last night there was a real, without, listen, not going overboard, I'm not saying Dom's an absolutely amazing centre forward, but there did seem like a little nice crossover of like, Dom's finally got to that point where he's on the level with him as a competing in a game of football. And I just thought last night Dom looked like he knew he had the better of him and thrived under that and really fancied the physical battle with him. And as I said, I've seen Dom before where he's been a little bit scrawnier and maybe Van Dijk's been a little bit higher in his level. And he just hasn't really gone near him. He's been calling for the ball by the left back or by the right back rather than by Virgil van Dijk. But I felt like last night he really fancied it. And that all plays into the goal as well, because at that point, said it loads, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is not aggressive enough as a centre forward for me. He doesn't get into the battles with the centre back. But it looked like early on last night that he really fancied a tussle.
He did. I thought so.
Going up against maybe one of the best in the world, he fancied it. Thought, I'm on it tonight. I really feel like I want to give this fella a game, and he really did. And then that plays into the goal as well. And he did. He looked bang
playing
on
for
it
a
last
contract
night.
as well. That helps.
Yeah. Do you think he's playing for a contract, or he's just
If I was a cynic, I'd say he's playing for a move. Yeah. But maybe you talked before about like a light going on. Maybe he just thinks I really am over those injuries now. I can now really play without thinking, play within myself.
I think.
But we do have a decision to make in the summer.
No, of course we do.
But so does he.
No, of course we do. That contract needs to be sorted this summer, but I do think as well. As I said, I've mentioned quite a few times about the aggression with Dom. He just.
He hasn't got it.
You've got to, but then you've got to find it. Then
that's right.
Aggression's not a thing that is like, it's not an inbuilt skill, is it? It's something that if you decide on that day you're going to go out.
It can be innate, though. Yeah.
Of course, you've got angry people, but if you decide that you're going to go out and have a snarling game, then you can easily do that. That's something you can just slip into. But I think what last night did for Dom, and whether it was premeditated or not, is Dom got an opportunity to show everybody. Outside Everton, how good he is.
Yeah.
If you've had a bad season, or you haven't had a season that's been up to the level of other seasons in the past, and you just want to say
I'm still here
to the England manager, again, 26-man squad, who knows, someone could pick up an injury and suddenly you want to say at least I'm still here, I can still do a job.
Southgate hasn't got anyone like him.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't. The other strikers are obviously scoring a lot more goals.
The groundwork type players, Ollie Watkins and Tony and stuff like that. But if he closes the season out like this, he'll think he's got a chance, won't he?
Well, he might. Well, he's got to give himself a chance. And I think last night, at least, he's sent a message that,
he has.
You know, I'm here if you need me. I'm here if it's a 20-man, 6-man squad and one of your other strikers gets injured. I'm here if you need somebody who's a good aerial centre forward for something slightly different. Will it be enough? I doubt it, but at least he's...
No, I doubt it as well.
At least he's showing it. At least he's saying, you know, what got me into...
He'll make the manager make a decision.
What got me into the... I mean, obviously what got him into the Euros a few years back was he was scoring goals. But he's also a physical threat. He's someone that, if a game is tight and you have to see it out, you can throw him on and at least see the game up because you know he's going to hold it up front. So at least he sent that message. And again, he's got to, like you saying there, he's got to keep that going now for the next few games. And obviously he played longer last night because there's no Beto to come on. So you haven't got... So maybe in other games, the manager's thinking after 60, 70 minutes, I'm going to take him off. Yeah. But last night, I think he fed on the fact that he did stay on the pitch. We're a much better team when Dom's on the pitch than we have with Beto on the pitch.
Oh, totally.
Because Beto can't hold the ball.
No, absolutely. So he's far more mobile. He's not quite as quick. Clearly, he's less physical because Beto has got that aggression that you want.
Yeah.
And that's why they're complementary. So,
no, I thought he was brilliant last night. I thought he really...
And he deserved his goal.
I thought he really dug in and gave that performance. And it was a fantastic night, absolutely fantastic night. And memories will have been made. And that's what it's all about. That's what Goodison Park's always been about for all our lives. And it's just been... There's just been such a...
We need more nights like that before we have to leave the old lady.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, for so long, you know, I've spoke about Goodison being an idea rather than something that's really happening. And last night fed back into what, as I've said, it reminded me of being a kid. It reminded me of being in the 90s. It reminded me of having that atmosphere, having that mood about it, but also the players playing into that and feeding off it. You don't see that much in football anymore because of the rules, because of what is allowed and what isn't allowed. And last night, everything just seemed to come together.
And it did.
And I don't know whether it was like that tear in the fabric of space and time that caused the first one to go in. But
well, if it is, let's hope we've stayed in the right multiverse.
Yeah, let's hope.
And we just keep doing it.
Well, let's hope Saturday we
finish the job off.
We get the job done. We turn up and the players do the job, and obviously they're not leggy and all those kind of things. And we go out there and we do what's needed. But let's have a look at the stats from the game. 16 shots to Liverpool's 22. 6 on target to 7. Big chances, 6.
That's amazing. It's twice as many.
That's huge, isn't it?
It is.
With only 24% possession, which is fine. That's where we found ourselves.
But we ran further, which again, the claim would be because we defended so much, but actually because of the way the defender was doing, you might not run more.
Yeah.
But clearly every single player was putting in that extra shift sort of thing.
Yeah. No, it was
most of their possession, they weren't doing anything with.
No, that's it, isn't it? Doing something with possession. But a fantastic night had by all, apart from the section that really emptied out very, very quick. Were they ever there though? There's no actual proof.
No, because I never heard them.
Yeah. If you're at a derby and you can't hear Liverpool fans, are they really there?
No.
That's the question you got to ask yourself.
And quite often you don't hear them at Anfield, so you're not going to hear them at Goodison.
No.
So.
It's all special effects. There you go. Right, we're continuing this over on Toffee TV Premier because we are live right now. We're live. If you would like to join us.
Is this live, is it?
This is live.
Good job I didn't swear then.
I think you did. If you would like to join us on Toffee TV Premier, the link is in the description. The QR code is coming up on the screen. It really is the thing that keeps this. It's the thing that allows me to talk nonsense at 1:30 in the morning without worrying about...
If you've not seen his match, his player thing, you've got to watch it.
Without having to worry about getting up to go to a real job. That's the thing that keeps this going, is all of that. Never mind, it's everything that keeps everything going. It keeps... it allows Ned to buy knockoff trainees from China.
And get gifted chocolate bars.
And get Kit Kats in the post.
He likes Kit Kats.
Yeah, he got sent Kit Kats in the post by one of our lovely Toffee TV Premier members, who I'm yet to find out who actually sent them, but we don't need to know that, Ned.
Too much information.
We will be continuing over there with the comments, and there you go. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.
Take care, people.